Jaron boots Ennis. Now that's a bad dude. All right, look. Swing and a miss. You're out of there. Jaron cocks the blick. Bam. That's your Mr. Postman. Left hand, hard as heck. He buckled, hit the Tootsie Roll. You see that? Boom. He's falling over. What makes it crazier is after that left, he landed a right uppercut and tried to follow it up with the third punch. Failed to his doom. It's over. Boots. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Jaron boots in his sensational victory over Roiman Villa. Now, I put this fight on an official Boxingego banger alert. And once again, Ego Stradamus strikes again. It was definitely that fun-filled, action-packed, barn-burner type of fight. Now, ironically, I gave every single round to Jaron boots Ennis, yet I'm still telling you it was a fun fight, which is kind of hard to do in the world of boxing, to have a one-sided domination and beatdown, but still have it fun, you know? And it may be hard to explain, but it's hard. Sometimes when you see a one-sided affair, it gets boring. But Jaron Ennis has such phenomenal style. He's full of combination punches, full of energy, full of pizzazz and panache, flashy, puts his punches together, very, very creative with his onslaught and combination punches. Plus, he has fundamentals. Really, he's a complete fighter. And people are now realizing this. I've been saying it. Me and my man Jesse Carl, we have been telling anyone who would listen, basically screaming at rooftops. And we're not even from Philly. We're both from NorCal. And we've been telling you about Jaron boots Ennis. Now I think the world is getting to see it. So very, very fun stuff on Showtime main event. Whole card was solid, but the main event definitely delivered. Jaron Ennis is looking like a main event fighter. People got up out their seat. Villa, despite getting dominated, suffering his first knockout loss, he made it fun, just being gutsy, being bold, and just being tough. He showed immense heart, the size of Venezuela, where he's from. No one could take that from him. He's tough as nails. But it was Jaron Ennis' night. He was definitely the better man, and he put together something special. Now, when I did the video telling you this fight, Ennis versus Villa was being stamped with the official Boxingego banger alert, I also made mention that some people fell off the Jaron Ennis train because of his last performance with that Karen dude. But if you listen to all of my commentary, I didn't discard Jaron Ennis. I didn't totally write him off based on one performance. I mean, the man's been giving you highlight reel after highlight reel after highlight reel. He has one night at the office where he still dominates. It just wasn't as electrifying as perhaps this Villa fight or his other fights where he's getting first round knockouts like Thomas Delorme or the Sergey Lipinets fight where he stopped Sergey Lipinets. But I also told you in those past videos, the great Ego Stradamus strikes again, that you're not going to knock everybody out, especially when your opponent is not really coming to win, not really coming to fight. You can't win a fight purely on defense in modern boxing with the way it's scored, especially when your opponent is throwing combinations and throwing offense. It becomes extremely hard. Now, in my past, I've seen fights in the past like Robert Easter versus Rances Bartholomew, where neither guy's really doing too much. And that was really one of the worst fights that I remember watching. I remember being bored out of my gourd. But you can't say the same thing with the Karen. Jaron Ennis was pressing the action and he was trying. So basically there was no way Karen was going to win the fight, fighting like the way he was. He was fighting negative and he was really in survival mode and looked like he wanted to save face, play spoiler, stink up the joint, if you will, and just not become part of Jaron's highlight reel, because he sure as heck wasn't going to win the fight like that. But in that banger alert video, I told you this fight would be pretty much the polar opposite of that, because Villa is game, Villa is determined, Villa is durable. And I really couldn't foreshadow Villa, everything I've seen from him, going out like the Karen dude. He was going to at least try to knock out Jaron Ennis if he could do it, which I told you he wouldn't be able to do. Pick Jaron Ennis by late stoppage. That was 100% accurate. And I told you he was going to at least try to make it a fight. Styles make fights, and he would be willing to go out on his shield. And that's exactly what happened. 10th round, Jaron Ennis lit him up. Now, I personally think, and I did the Boxingego watch party. Shout out to everybody who sent cash apps. I was so enthralled and invested in this fight, I really couldn't even get to reading all the cash apps live on air, but I got them and I appreciate y'all. Shout out to the people who sent super thanks. It really helps me grow the channel and continue to build. So I did the watch party and I was just enjoying it. You know, I was enjoying the main event, and Jaron Ennis is super fun to watch. Villa, again, game effort. He shows heart, and I knew he would be willing to go out on his shield. 10th round, he got totally dominated and lit up. And as I said in the beginning, the cold part about it is he got hit with a left hand that buckled his knees, and he really doubled over and folded over. And then Jaron Ennis rocked his head up with a vicious right uppercut. And then that already had him discombobulated and pretty much was the knockout. And he started to go away and fall and wither. And Jaron Ennis came real close to landing a third punch. That's a killer, because he's clearly explosive and fast-handed enough to get that sequence off. You know, like you got a man who's hurt and like crippling and doubling over, and you're still clipping him. Like the fact that he got that right uppercut off was special. And if you look at some of my past videos, I told you my favorite fighter, one of my favorite fighters is Roy Jones Jr. And I don't say this lightly, but back then I was telling you there's elements and shades of Roy Jones Jr. in Jaron Ennis's game. And I think this fight is a demonstration of that. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Roy Jones Jr. said he can even see a bit of him in Jaron Ennis's bag. So that's high praise from a legend in the sport of boxing. But I said that many moons ago, and I think this fight showed you that. The explosiveness. I really like Jaron Ennis's jab. I like the uppercut. And I like the fact that Jaron Ennis is young and Boots is not a headhunter. Like, he's trying to take your head off. That's goes without saying. But he also invested to the body. The little subtle stab, I call it the Floyd Mayweather jab stab, that was on display. Andre Ward is also very crafty with that, and it looked hurtful. Villa in the early rounds was getting hit with that, but he was on full energy and he hadn't been rocked too bad upstairs, and he was like shaking his head no. But I think all of the succession of punches and the accumulation of punches, I knew it was going to take his toll. In the 6th round, I think it was the 6th round, Villa got hit and he almost didn't make it out the round. He was completely hurt and Jaron Ennis got on him. And I think Jaron Ennis smothered his work subtly and he was able to survive that particular round. But I really feel after that round where he got hurt the first time, round 6 or so, he never recovered. And I think the fight could have and should have been stopped earlier than what it was. I think Villa took a lot of unnecessary punishment. Now, in my videos, I give you guys the good, the bad, the ugly. The good is obviously Jaron Ennis. His legend grows, urban legend in the sport, doing big things in a glamour division like the welterweight division. It's getting to the point where people are going to need him to see him with bigger names, because these other up-and-coming guys won't be able to hold him off. So far, it doesn't look like that's the case, you know? Even the Karen dude, he didn't come close to winning. he was just making it an ugly and dull fight. As far as the bad, I gotta give that to Villa's team. I'm not gonna really say anything negative about Villa. He fought his butt off, tried to make it cool, hit Jaron Ennis with some good selection of shots. It was just too far and few in between, and he was getting teed off and losing every round. But he did good in spots, and he warred back, and he was a live dog, and there was just a hint and an element of danger as long as he was upright, because he was like the Terminator. Yeah, what are you doing? Kill it. You know what I mean? I'll be back. He was just on some Terminator Margarito stuff. So if there ever was a point where Jaron Ennis were to get tired or punch himself out, it would have been real interesting, because he has some power and he's just relentless. So I'm not going to really say nothing negative. I think he's a warrior and he did his part, but I'm going to give that bad and the ugly to his team. Thought the cornering was poor. I didn't really hear any significant advice to help their mans out and turn things around. And I think they had him in there taking unnecessary punishment, because it was evident for at least a few rounds. Even Terrence Crawford said this on Twitter. It was evident that he needed a knockout to win. And as the fight wore on, he was just getting turned into mincemeat, and he wasn't really looking significant. He wasn't doing anything significant enough to look like he was going to be able to turn it around. So I think that's bad for fighters to take sustained beatings. Getting knocked out, that's one, it's just short and sweet. Like when Marquez knocked out Pacquiao, that's just a once and done type of deal. The people who have died from the sport of boxing is usually from a sustained beating, when you just keep getting bludgeoned and then your brain starts to bleed, hemorrhage and swell and things like that, and you just keep getting hit and hit and hit. That's usually what's bad for you. So I think Roman Villa proved he was tough, but toughness doesn't win fights, and nor is it good for you long term. So I think it was up to his corner to kind of pull him out of there and say, hey, live to fight another day, because the beating he ended up taking in the end could be career changing. He might, he's the guy that beat Rashidi Ellis, but the way everything was set up and the amount of punishment he took, I don't really know. I don't know where his career is going to be, where his confidence is going to be, because you let him stay in there after the fight was getting away from him for several rounds. To me, he lost every round, even though he was making it kind of fun early. And after the 6th round where he was badly hurt, it just kept getting worse and worse for him. Yeah, Ennis picking his spots, did a lot of great early body work, and he just wasn't going to win it. And Jaron Ennis put the nail in the coffin. Boom, shakalaka-laka, NBA Jam style in the 10th round. Sweet combination, laced him up, very flashy, highlight reel, fun to watch. I mean, this kid he's really amassing a very fun highlight reel while looking good. The other thing, I don't want to just talk about the combination punches and offense, because I've already told you how there was a lack of defense with Villa. I was impressed with Jaron's defense. I think his defense was very tight. I mean, you're going to get hit some. And it's funny because a lot of the racists, they have all these negative things to say when a black fighter like Jaron Ennis wins. I mean, he won by knockout. And if you go to some of the places that posted it, like on Instagram and stuff, people are saying negative things and saying Jaron Ennis rabbit punched him to death. And I mean, just crying. It's a lot of racist fans and stuff saying a bunch of negative stuff like they always do in the comment section when Floyd Mayweather wins or whoever, especially if a black fighter is fighting a non-black fighter. You typically see this behavior. I thought Jaron's performance was exceptional. Villa was game and tried. He didn't have a large enough arsenal to prevent what happened. Overall, stellar performance, especially coming off of the Karen performance where people, they weren't sold and they were writing off Jaron Ennis. He stayed in the gym, came in lighter than the welterweight division, and he stayed undefeated, but he bounced back in a major way in terms of looking at that last performance in contrast with this. Again, the only thing I could really give Villa is say he's tough. He's tough as uck. and he was game, and he did everything he could for as long as he could. That's the best way to put it. Jaron Ennis looked special, very dazzling, huge problem for anyone in the welterweight division. Again, I think his defense was crispy. He was fighting off the ropes. He was finding exits. The other subtle thing that I really like that no one else is going to talk about except for me, or they might talk about it after I said it, is Jaron Ennis clinched in this fight. That shows me something. You're a young fighter. Young fighters sometimes, like I said, headhunt, don't go to the body. You got this young fighter, Boots Ennis, going to the body instead of just headhunting. Love it. And then the fact that he was willing to clinch against his Terminator style, relentless Margarito, but kind of one-dimensional type of dude, he was able to stifle any type of forward momentum, because there was times where Villa, boom, landed a good shot, and then you see the head snap back of Jaron Ennis, and then he would clinch him. That was super smart. Super smart. Philly is a fight town, so I really expect nothing less from a Philadelphian fighter, but I love to see it. I love to see those types of fundamentals. Jab, clinch when necessary to slow down the momentum or prevent momentum and stop an onslaught. These were some of the things that Jaron Ennis was doing. So again, Philly's a fight town. They produce people like Bernard Hopkins, Joe Frazier, Matthew Saad, Muhammad, Danny Garcia, Gabe Rosado, Hank Lundy, just gritty, tough fight. Rocky Balboa. Let me tell you something you already know, kid. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbow. It's a cruel place that'll beat you there if you let it. Nothing is gonna hit hard as life. Drago. Apollo Creed. I mean, Philly, they got talent, man. Philly got a lot of talented boxers historically, and it looks like Jaron Ennis, you got to add him to the list. He looking crazy. He looking, special. We'll see. We'll see what's next for him. I think it's going to be hard for him. He's not going to get Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford. They got a rematch clause. I think Errol Spence will move up if you listen to the All Access Spence Crawford. But I'll talk about that more in a future video. I really want to focus this on what I actually seen with Jaron Ennis. Props on a job well done. I definitely rate that performance. Now you can see why guys like Floyd Mayweather have been raving about him. Floyd Mayweather said he watched him and he was like, who the F is that? Who is that guy? You know what I'm saying? And Floyd, obviously a GOAT in the sport of boxing. So Jaron Ennis definitely did himself a lot of favors. Classic photos, him walking away after the knockout, Villa in the ropes. Very impressive. Villa looked very game and even hurt and looked like he was about to stop Rashidi Ellis in his last fight. So coming off of that to get destroyed by Jaron Ennis, and Ennis never was hurt, never lost control, stayed to the game plan. And he was even critical of himself post-fight. Like, he was like, oh yeah, I could have listened to my corner more and stuff like that. I mean, I think he'll go a long way just being reasonable, because I thought it was an all-star type of performance, and he sounded like a perfectionist post-fight. But I can go on and on. For now, I'll leave it at that. Great stuff, Jaron Ennis. Let me know what you think of his performance. Who should he fight next? Thurman, Ugas? What do you want to see? Let me know that in the comment section, and I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description, customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.